Alright, let's do a brake job. This is the rear brakes on a 2001 Ford Escape. Now, if you got your drum, it's real rusty like this, get your big hammer, pound on it a few times and it should break it loose. Now I had to do that. I'm just saving you guys some time so you don't have to go see all that. Now here's our brake shoes, wheel cylinder, spring, parking brake pawl. So what we're going to do is always work on one side at a time, because this stuff can get confusing where the springs are at, which holes, orientation of the springs. So always leave your other side so you can always go back to it if you need to. So I'm going to take some brake clean. Just going to kind of clean this stuff up in here. Just to get some of this brake dust here so this stuff will settle. We'll give that a couple of minutes there for that to work, evaporate a little bit. And before you start taking things off, what I like to do is kind of take a look at things. Like I can see that this here bracket here is for the adjuster. You can see that this here ends are turned up. They're on this side. Okay, you can see how this looks over here. Alright, I can see that the spring is on the outside of here. It's going to hook in here. Alright, and then the other side of that spring hooks in on the back side here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just take this spring off on the bottom. They have special tools for this, but a lot of times you can just get it with some vice grip pliers and just use a little oof power here.
Oof power.
Yeah.
Elbow grease.
Elbow grease.
Plus we love the sound effects.
Right, sound effects, that's right. So you can see that's how he goes on, just like that. And try to set them aside so you can keep the orientation, how you know things were. Okay. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this spring clips off here. Okay. You notice he was on there just like that. Always take account of how things are coming off. Same thing like this, you can see that he's going down. Push the pin out from the back. And there he is there. What I did here, guys, is I took this here, it was an awl here, and then just put it in there, wear it back, pried it back rather, and then I just unhooked it. Alright. Now, this side should just come right on out. Okay. Again, lay things down like you take them off.
That side's got all kind of stuff in it.
And this side's got all kind of shit on here. Okay. Now you can see on the back side here. So you need to take a good look at this stuff when you put it back, because it could get a little confusing. I would recommend taking some pictures, or in this case here, you know, if you got a video camera, just go ahead and video it. Okay. All right. Take see one look, so as you can see that the adjuster here, see it's got this here lug sticking up. It comes up inside of this here parking brake pawl here, or lever. And the spring, the hooks are going down. Spring is up here on this end. So all that kind of stuff you got to take notice of. Okay. We can just take this spring, slide it back. It's under compression here a little bit, but it should be able to hopefully slide this thing out of there. And it's got a washer. So you got to slide back too. That's a little bit aggravating here. Okay. Alright, so now it's a matter of just taking this thing apart. Now, you take this here pocket brake lever. You should be able to just slide it off this post, lift it up, slide it off, and then what you could do is just slide it out from underneath. Take note, you know, the spring, you know, was on there, just like that, okay?
Yeah.
So we take it off, and we lay it down, just like we take it off, okay? Now, this spring over here, we just lift it on out, okay? All right. Now this one here, we could just kind of lift up on it, and it'll come right out, okay? And so that was how it was, just like that, okay?
Yeah.
And it slid across there with the spring down in there, okay? Now on this side, we have a C-clip, and we need to take the C-clip off so we can take this off and transfer it to the new brake shoe, okay? So we can get a screwdriver up in there and just kind of wedge it out, and then it'll pop off. Then we can take this, and now we can just slide him off, okay? And again, take our brake shoes, just put everything in the orientation how things came off, okay? Let's go see, he went in there like that. Okay, you may know I'm replacing the e-stop brake cables on here. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this here cable. It's got some little plastic tangs, one on each side. So you got to press those in, and while they're pressed in, then you pull it back. Okay, so now out he comes. All right. Now, let's take the brake clean. Now let's clean this all up good, and then we'll wipe it all down too. After you get it all cleaned on with the brake clean, you can take a rag, wipe it down, get any excess rust off. Or if you want to feel ambitious, you can go ahead and spray it down with some paint and all. But in my case, I'm just going to leave it like it is. I got to get this car back together. Okay, so let's do a little assembly here on this here. Putting these brake shoes back in. Now you can use molybdenum grease, or you can use anti-seize, or you can use you know, stuff by Permatex and all they have out there, you know, for a lubricant. So I'm just going to kind of lube up this post. Get some of this here excess off. And where's my parking brake pole at?
Okay.
Okay. And then we'll stick him down on there. Make sure that he slides back and forth easily. If you have paint on there, then you may have a little problem with the paint, you know, where to drag. So work it back and forth till you get it free. All right. Now, if you're ever going to do these here drums and doing the brake shoes, always get you a hardware kit. Hardware kit will take care of both sides for you. I've already done the other side, so we're going to just go ahead and replace the springs, clips, pretty much pins. You can get a little C-clip here. So we take our C-clip, go sit it back up on the groove here in the posts, and then we're going to get him to go back in there. Let's see if we can get him to snap right back on there.
It's a tough little thing.
Oh yeah, they're a little snug. Okay, so now he's snapped on. Make sure he still moves freely, which he does. Okay. And now you can get your adjuster here. Now this piece right here, it's got the little lug sticking up. You can just slide him off. Okay. Now, go ahead. We can screw him out. As you notice, this one here has left-hand threads. The one on the left rear has right-hand threads. So let's go ahead and screw him on out. Okay. Put everything just like you take it off. Now, our spring, we'll just take him, slide him off. Now, we're going to have this piece, so now you can see how everything goes together. Okay? Now, to give you a chance to go ahead and clean this up with some brake clean. So I'm going to be cleaning up these here 3 pieces here. Alright, now that you have the 3 pieces cleaned up, now we can take our new spring and we can slide it over here on this. Okay? And remember, the lugs were sticking up, and so when we get through, we know that the spring is going to be like that. Okay? Now, let's get a little bit of anti-seize. I'm going to put a little bit on the threads. And let's screw him in. And I'm going to screw it all the way down. This way it'll make things go back to easier when you're putting the springs back on, so it won't be under quite so much tension. Okay, a little bit of anti-seize on the end of the cap here. And then this goes like so. Okay. Now, we're going to take our parking brake adjuster here, and what we're going to do is we're going to take this one here, we're going to flip it over upside down, and you'll notice there's a post, and you're going to see there's a hole here. We want this here tab to be sticking up. Spring is going to go down inside like so, in the hole. Now we're going to take this notch, and we're going to hook it around this area right there where you can see there's a notch to where it will fit in like so. Okay. Now we're going to take our parking brake lever. We're going to raise this, will go up under the spring. Okay. And it's going to fit over this post. And now we're going to slide it back. And now you can see this here cutout has that tab up underneath. Okay? Now we're going to take our new spring, we're going to hook it up in this hole right there. And now we're going to slide it down to this hole and hook it up to right there. And that's what we should have now.
Almost too easy.
Well, not too bad. Okay? So I'm going to put a little bit of anti-seize right here on this brake pad. Also down here at the bottom. Alright. You can see these little posters sticking up. I'm going to put a little bit there. A little bit in there. And put a little bit down in there. And I'm going to put a little bit more up inside here to where this part is going to fit up in that groove down in here.
It's like painting class.
Yep. And I'm going to put a little bit over here.
So like all the raised bits, basically.
Yep. It's basically where the brake shoe is going to be sliding on metal to metal.
I gotcha.
So you're just kind of reducing some friction so you won't possibly have any noise. I want to take the assembly here that we just got through putting together, and let's snake them on up in there, making sure this goes up inside the wheel cylinder. Okay, and then we want to make sure that this goes up underneath down in here, behind this here. It's a groove down in there. Now let's get our pin. These are all new. Let's get our clip. This sometimes can take some bear to get this in there too, because this here clip has to be pushed, and then at the same time while it's being pushed in, you have to turn this key, or this pin rather. And that takes care of that one. And make sure he looks like he's centered in there. He looks pretty good to me. Yeah, okay. Now again, I'm replacing the e-stop cable on this side. So let's go ahead and feed this in now. Yep, okay. Alright, now there's a groove that this here needs to pass up under. Now, let's take this. Let's just see if we can get this thing. Push it back. You can see this is where the e-stop cable goes up under this here, kind of a hook underneath there. Let's get the other brake shoe. Let's position him up there. Make sure he goes up underneath down here and up here in the wheel cylinder. See if I can find the pinhole. Oops. Let's put him in there. Make sure he looks like he's alright. Yep. Alright. Now for the hardest part of all.
It's a long way to go on that spring.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Mm.
Oh yes,
Yep.
he's in there.
Last thing we're going to do is put this little spring on.
All right.
Alright, now we're going to put the brake drum on. Now make sure, look around here, use this as a guide. You can see there's a ridge here. You can look at this here area, making sure this is concentric to the outside surface of the brake drum. And you can look over here and compare it. So you can pound on it and shift it and move it sideways, up and down to get this here right. Otherwise you may not be able to get your drum on. Alright, so
Feels good?
I mean, it feels good to me to where it's at, where it's located. I think I'm gonna just kind of leave it right there. Seems to be alright. Now, before we finally put the drum on, we're going to take and, you know, to get some sandpaper, or you can get an emery cloth, or if you got a air tool, you can get in here and just kind of knock this rust off. And then I'm going to put a little bit of anti-seize right up on here. Keep your drum from sticking in the future when you want to take it off. Now, if you find out that you got a lot of slop there, you know, in your brake drum between your shoes, you can take and adjust this here stall wheel. Remember on this one it's got left-hand threads, so you know you turn it this way if you want to back out the shoes. If you need more clearance, or turn it the other way, and that'll make the shoes come in, and then you can just pound them together and reseat them and then put your drum on. So you want a light drag when you're turning the drums. Like I said, in my case it looks like it's okay, so I'm going to leave it like it is. Alright, so I cleaned it up, got some anti-seize on there, so let's go ahead and put this drum on. There you go, guys. That's how you do your rear brake drums on a Ford Escape. I wasn't going to film this, but there was one viewer, he wanted to see how I do it, so there you go. So now you see what to do if you want to do this. I think you said your wife had one Ford Escape. Not too big a deal. So that's going to wrap this video up. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I appreciate you guys watching. You guys take care.